does, but you're thinking of a totally different coach. Anyway, and that's, like I said, you can talk about Tennessee all you want, but try to be factual when you're on your show and quit saying 50,000 times a show. Just trying to help you out, man. And as far as Magnum, talking about how they're going to beat the crap out of us. Look, Georgia fans, y'all need to quit acting like y'all are Alabama or up there with Alabama, because you're not. You're about as mediocre as it gets. Okay, you get all these high expectations every freaking year, and you underachieve. And I know you've been better than us the last 4 years, but let me tell you, you're not up there with Alabama or Auburn. Y'all need a real reality check up there, or down there in Athens, I should say. Quit acting like you're the top tier of college football, because you're far from it. And that's really all I want to say about the Georgia Bulldogs. And bold prediction, I've been saying, and Keith can tell you, I've been saying it for months. We're going to beat Georgia in Athens this year. We may not go into Oklahoma and get the W, but I'm not worried about Georgia. I think Hudson Mason is highly overrated. He looked like crap against Nebraska, and he's no more proven than Justin Worley, and that's a fact. He's played 2 games, okay? 2 games. So when we roll into Athens this year and kick Georgia's ass, then, Uncle Lou, I want an apology from you, man. Other than that, y'all keep doing y'all's thing over there, and we'll keep doing ours. All right, Keith.
I didn't have a problem, honestly, Carter, with anything the guys said, with the exception of Tennessee taking a cheap shot at Keith Marshall.
Well, here we go. Here we go.
Who we got?
Uncle Lou here.
Oh, Uncle Lou here. Here's your chance to retort to Carter.
Look here.
Defend yourself.
Look here, BVD. You said you're having a hard time coming to the realization of what's going on at Tennessee. Let Uncle Lou help you here, buddy. You guys are an embarrassment to the SEC.
We heard
period.
Your rant.
Embarrassing. You can't beat Vandy. 3rd best team in your state. Georgia's a mediocre team. You're out of your mind. We're averaging 10 wins a year for the last 15 years. There's nothing mediocre about that. Tennessee wants to beat Georgia so bad they can't stand it.
Wants to beat or wants to be?
Wants to be.
Now, I disagree with that. Now, I'll give you this, Uncle Lou. We do want to beat Georgia. We want to get back to the way it was in the 90s when we kicked your all's ass every year, just like Magnum said. Magnum said it himself back then. It was like when that game came up, they just counted it as a W on your schedule. I've never counted Georgia as an automatic loss for us, and I never will, because you always have had penis envy of Tennessee, and you're going to continue to have it because you're Georgia and we're Tennessee. You guys clearly are the better program right now. I'm not even going to argue that, man. I give you that. That's pure. Somebody say something?
Yeah, I said I give them that too. I totally agree. Georgia is the way better program right now. But all I was trying to say was you are the better program, but let's be honest, you're still not up there with like Alabama and Auburn and Florida State and Oklahoma.
No, see, I disagree with that myself, because we went toe-to-toe with Auburn and we went toe-to-toe with Alabama. To say that they can just come on the field and murk us is just asinine. We can compete with anybody at any time.
We go toe-to-toe with you every year. So what does that say about us?
What happened to you, Carter? You sound like you're talking in a Georgia.
I can't hardly understand Carter. It sounds like he's on a speakerphone.
Sounds like he's locked in a closet somewhere out of embarrassment.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin's done jumped out and got a hold of him.
Well, listen, you guys are more than welcome to own our ass right now, in the sense that we know that you guys have the upper hand. You've won 4 in a row. But, we were able to beat you guys even when we sucked. Like back, you talk shit about Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin kicked your ass. He murked, as you like to say, Magnum. He murked you guys. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, and you know what? Look at who our quarterback was. We had a pathetic quarterback. And now that Aaron Murray came along, y'all couldn't even beat Aaron Murray.
You've always got an excuse, Magnum. Look, just enjoy your run.
You guys have always got an excuse. I don't want to hear that.
I just hope y'all can beat Utah State. This is embarrassing. Just please don't lose to Utah State. Please.
We're not going to lose to Utah State. We're not going to lose to Arkansas State. I don't know what the hell's going to happen in Norman, Oklahoma. But I guarantee you we're going to come down there and shut you guys up. We'll see.
No, you're looking at a 4-8 season, period. 4-8, and if you don't beat Utah State, you're going to be 3-9.
Come in to Sanford and get a win. What do y'all have that we should fear? Like, what do y'all have that we should fear? Why do you think Tennessee can come into Sanford and beat us?
What the hell? Cut that shit off, Ray. Cut them off. Thank you. Yeah, that's another thing too. The Georgia fans like to always throw that Deliverance shit up to Tennessee fans. They like to talk about toothlessness and all that. If I'm not mistaken, the movie Deliverance was filmed in Georgia. So suck on that for a little bit. We're going to move right along. I do appreciate the call, guys. That was some good back and forth. We can't talk shit to Georgia right now because they've beaten us the last 4 years. So what else can you say? As far as that goes, we give it to you, Bulldogs. But we'll see what happens down in Athens, and if you guys win, I'll get on here and apologize and say you're still the better team. But I'm not going to do it overall because you guys are full of shit. You've always been. Georgia fans are the worst fans. They're insufferable. My God. I mean, they come to your stadium and talk shit. I've had more trouble out of Georgia fans than I've ever had from any other fan base, and that's including at Florida. And those are some of the big jerk-offs I've ever seen in my life. So I do appreciate the call, man. Uncle Lou and Magnum got me fired up. I'm ready to go out right now and tackle a neighbor or something, Carter. Still there?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say that about Georgia. I've been to Baton Rouge twice, so I don't think I could put Georgia in the same category. Every time I've been to Athens, it's been a good show, man. Like I said, you know, I'm not. I don't know, but anyway, let's move on.
I understand, dude. It struck a nerve. You know, you don't want to hear people talking shit about your team. Just like I'm sure the Georgia fans hated it back, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever, when they were getting their asses kicked. Mark Richt's come along, yeah, he's turned their program around. He's gotten them out of the Ray Goof era and Jim Donnan and all those scrubs that coached. But that alone is proof that this happens to every football team. Look at Miami. They went through their slump. Even the great Oklahoma, although it's not as bad as what we're going through now, they went through their shit years. Alabama, the self-proclaimed kings of college football right now, where were they before Nick Saban got there? They were ass. That's where they were. So this shit happens to everybody. Excuse me for my language, but it just pisses me off because, people want to call us the embarrassment of the conference when it's happened to everybody else. Vanderbilt's beaten us 2 years in a row, and that does hurt. It really does. I mean, that goes straight to the core of any Tennessee Volunteer fan. But I'll take 27 wins out of the last 30 against those bastards and let them have their little 2 wins in a row or whatever it is. So you guys just keep talking shit, keep kicking us while we're down, and we'll talk to you when we get back to the top. And then it'll be some fun for real. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's kind of funny that we're talking about Georgia because one of the things that we were going to do this week is we got, 2 or 3 shows before the season starts. So we wanted to talk about the other teams in the SEC. Now, we can't break them all down for you from top to bottom, and we're not going to do them all in one show. So we're going to start tonight with 4 teams, 2 from the East, 2 from the West. It looks like we've already kind of covered Georgia a little bit, but we'll get to those guys next week when we talk about the great Hudson Mason and the great Keith Marshall. Next Monday.
Caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, I'm just calling to represent my FSU, calling from Florida.
FSU?
Well, thanks for calling.
No, I wanted to talk to BVD, though.
Oh.
Uh-oh. I think this is an aunt caller, but go ahead.
Hi, BBD. How you doing? I'm just wondering if you had anybody special in your life.
No, I have Georgia fans are special in my life.
That's it? Just the Georgia fans?
Yeah, I love Georgia fans. They're all great. I love Florida State fans, too.
Oh, well, thank you. But I was just calling to see how y'all was doing now. Representing FSU.
We're doing great. Thanks for the call. And
all right, bye-bye.
Good luck to your Noles this week. Thanks for the call.
All right, bye-bye.
Take care. Unc, we appreciate it. That was beautiful. First time I've had... Huh?
You're calling the love connection.
Yeah, there you go. Talking about South Carolina, Carter, they will be pretty much most everyone's pick to win the SEC East this year. Of course, Dylan Thompson will be their starting quarterback this year, and you almost want to stop short of saying returns as starter. Obviously, that's not true because Connor Shaw was the starter. But Dylan Thompson, aside from maybe Driscoll, has the most starts in the SEC East from teams that matter. And their defense, of course, they lost Jadeveon Clowney, who I watched the other night in his first game for Houston. He looked really well. I think all the people that were thinking he was going to suck in the NFL, they probably put their crack pipes down now and have come to grips with reality. But what are your thoughts on South Carolina? Where do you expect them to finish in the East, and just your general thoughts?
I hate to say it, but I think they're going to win the East. And a lot of people have them or Georgia winning it, and of course Florida's a dark horse. But South Carolina, they got Dylan Thompson, who's played a lot at the Q position, and I understand that that Missouri game he didn't look too good in, but I mean, hey, he's got some starts. He helped them win against Michigan in the bowl game, where Clowney had the big hit. Defensive wise, they're losing. They lost 3 guys on their D-line. A lot of fans think they're going to be just fine. Nothing's going to change, but you can't replace a guy like Clowney and expect it to be the same. It's just not. And even Kelsey Quarles, who I thought was almost just as good as Clowney, who I thought was just a wrecking ball out there. And they lost Quarles and Clowney, and that's going to hurt them. And their secondary last year made a lot of mistakes, but I'm sure they'll be better this year. Back to offense real quick, Mike Davis, great running back. He's not as good as Todd Gurley, but he's still one of the top running backs in the SEC. And I hate to say it, man, we got to go down there to Columbia, and they're going to be one pissed-off team looking for some revenge. So I still think they're going to win the East. Now, they'll probably choke in the SEC championship game, but they're going to win the East, and they'll hang a banner at Williams-Brice Stadium.
Yeah, we do go down to Columbia this year, and I'm sure they're going to be ticked off. But a lot of the big guys that were on that team last year when they came up here and got beat, they're not there. So I'm not worried about South Carolina. I'm not saying we're going to go down there and beat their ass or anything like that. But if you look at this series, obviously we dominate the overall series, which we do with a lot of teams. But South Carolina's been a team that we have played close basically for the last 4 years. If not for a Tyler Bray fumble 2 years ago, who knows, we may have won that game. I'm not going to say, like a lot of people, that we were definitely going to drive down and win that game, but we were on our way. So at least we were in the game. 4 years ago, I believe it was, when South Carolina was just absolutely kicking our ass, they take, oh my God, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. They take Sims out and they put Bray in, and all of a sudden you look up and the game's tied, and they're in a struggle. So South Carolina's always had a tough time. I'm not going to say always because they haven't always been good, but these last, 4 or 5 years when they've actually been a national power, so to speak, even then they've had a hard time knocking off Tennessee. So I don't expect this year to be any different. If I had to give you a prediction right now, I'd say that's probably a game we don't win. but we'll see when it comes time. Up next, the Florida Gators, the team that everybody loves to pick on because they went 4-8 last year. And I want to preface talking about Florida by saying, last year, they went